All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome back. So today is Tuesday, a much better day in Bitcoin miners, and we have some good news. We have good news from Core Scientific. They had CoreWeave increase their basically megawatts is going to be renting from Core Scientific, which is good there. We have some bad news on the miners side of front. We'll get into which one it is, but I think you guys know already. So we got BitDigital reporting, Iren and Marathon reporting their July updates. Iren is the one that has some bad news in it. We'll take a look at it. I'll give you guys my thoughts on it as well. And I think that's it. I don't think I'm missing anything else. But yeah, we'll get into all that stuff. We'll look at the miners, Bitcoin today as well, see what's going on there. But as always, you guys know the drill. Not financial advice for entertainment only. Please do your own research. My full disclosure for you guys down below that. And if you enjoy this type of content, hit the like button, subscribe. Helps me out tremendously here. And let's take a look at what's going on here with, oops, I need to fix something here really quick. All right, let's take a look at the charts here. So Bitcoin had a pretty good day today. It was up roughly, what was it, about 2%? Oh, actually 3%, 3.74%. So it closed at 56,000, which was good. It was up 2,000 on the day. It hit a high of 57,091, which was also good. RSI is still looking pretty good here right now. No complaints there. I think some of that fear and just distress and what's happening with Japan and the yen there and the carry trade, all that stuff, I think might be coming to an end there. We'll see. Because what is this? One of you guys also just posted that Para Stevenson posted that the Bank of Japan is not, where was it? Stated their intentions not to raise rates further. I mean, they've raised rates anyways. I think that part of it might be over with. We may still have a little bit of lag behind that. Not too much, I'm guessing. A lot of that liquidation happened basically Monday, yesterday. But we'll see how that goes forward, okay? So Bitcoin, it was pretty good today. It's up a little bit here in the new day as well. It is up right now, 1.45%, up $820 roughly to 56,873. So that's looking good also there. Miners had a really pretty good day so far. Some miners did better than others. And some did a little bit worse. So we can see here that Annie was up 1.38, Argo was up 7%, BitDigital was up 6%, BitDeer was up 14.6%, so they had a really good day. Bitfarms was up just 2.5%, Cypher was actually down 1.98%, Cleanspark was up just barely 0.5% there, CORZ was up 18.13%, and that is based on the news that came out today with them and CoreWeave signing a new deal for an additional $2 billion now, so they're going to be at $6.7 billion. That's huge news there for them. Digihost was up 8.9%. DMG was up 5.71%. Hive was up 3.2%. Hot was up 6.2%. Iren was down 5.49% today. And that is mainly because of their July operational update. We'll take a look at that, what the numbers mean for that. Mara was up just slightly, 1.77%. Mawson was up also slightly, 1.4%. Riot was up 1.2%. Stronghold was up 6.3%. And Wolf was up 1.1% as well. All in all, it was a pretty good day in the miners. We were at least green for the most part on them. So, yeah, we'll leave it at that right now and how that's all shaping up. And we may as well take a look at the hash price really quick, see where that is with the Bitcoin price being where it's at right now. Let me update this page really quick. And the hash price has come down pretty low, actually. I mean, we're down to, what are we at, 39? And we came down all the way yesterday to 35. That's pretty painful for the miners. So we'll see how this continues going forward as well. We did hit on Monday, the 29th of last month, $54 was kind of the high here in the last, what was this, probably last month or so. But yeah, we'll take a look, see how this progresses forward. So we'll see how what Bitcoin does and everything else. But let's get into the stories that we do have here really quick. The first one's going to be on Core Scientific. So Core Scientific announces exercise of additional contract option by CoreWeave for delivery of approximately 112 megawatts of additional infrastructure to host high-performance computing operations. Excuse me, I got to clear my throat. Sorry about that. So today they announced that CoreWeave, the AI hyperscaler, has exercised its option to contract for additional infrastructure pursuant to the terms provided as part of their previously announced 200 megawatts hosting contract for high-performance computing entered into with CoreWeave on June 3rd. So we're going back 2 months here, roughly. Under the terms of today's announcement agreement, Core Scientific will modify its infrastructure to deliver approximately 112 incremental megawatts of HPC to host CoreWeave's NVIDIA GPUs. Okay, here's some bad news here on this. This is going quite a ways out here. But site modifications are expected to begin in the second half of 2024. with operational status anticipated in the first half of 2026. So, I mean, we're already in the second half of 2024. I wonder if they meant 2025 here. But this $2 billion is not going to be added on to their revenue side of things until possibly the first half of 2026. So we're looking at a year and a half out, roughly, from where we are right now. This new 12-year contract for HPC hosting contract will further expand Core Scientific's exposure to contracted multi-year dollar-denominated revenue. The new contract with CoreWeave is expected to add approximately $2 billion in projected additional cumulative revenue over the hosting contract's 12-year term, to the more than $4.7 billion in projected cumulative revenue associated with the previous announced contract with CoreWeave, for a total of $6.7 billion over the next 12 years. I mean, that's huge. They are the only ones other than BitDigital with having a pretty good sizable contract as well for roughly $300 million over 3 years with the customer that they have there. But right now, Core Scientific is just killing it on this front. And we've talked about this. I've talked about my skepticism with the HPC demand that's out there. We're not seeing it really transpire into the other miners so far. We might see something down the road, but you would think with all the hype that's been going around lately and all the demand that's out there supposedly, where is that demand going to? And is it really just you're going to have this kind of big guy here like CoreWeave that has a 20 some odd billion valuation on them? They got a bunch of cash infusion here this year as well. Where are the other guys that are going to be doing this? And are they going with some of the other hyperscalers like Amazon, Microsoft, Google, even maybe, what's the other one there? Gosh, I'm drawing a blank here. But there's another one that's in there, Meta as well. So there's a couple players in this space that are looking to expand as well quite tremendously in the next 2 years. But yeah, it's just a question there. Where's the other demand for the other miners? And it might not be there. We'll just have to wait and see. Okay, so let's see here. We have now contracted with CoreWeave for a total of 382 megawatts of HPC. That leaves them with 118 megawatts left, part of the 500 megawatts that's available to them. And then they are actively building our pipeline of potential new sites to expand our infrastructure portfolio and business opportunities. That is great news there. And then consistent with the terms of the agreement with CoreWeave previously announced on June 3rd of this year, all capital investments required to modify Core Scientific's existing infrastructure into cutting-edge application-specific data centers customized for dense HPC will be funded by CoreWeave. So it's still that same deal where CoreWeave will fund the build-out, and then it'll take some time for Core Scientific to pay them back within probably like 2 years or something like that, 2.5 years or something like that. Let's see. The new agreement with Core also provides opportunities for 2 renewal terms of 5 years each. So they can extend that out to 17 years potentially, I guess, on all of these contracts that they have right now. So, I mean, this is huge news for them. They're going to be generating roughly, what is that going to be? Where's my calculator? There it is. Let's see. So if we have 12 years at 4.7 billion, what is that a year? Let's see. Okay. Well, 4.7 billion. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I'm putting in zeros here. 4.7 billion. Okay, divided by 12 years. You're looking at 391 million per year. Divide that by 365 days roughly, and you get about 1 million in revenue per day on this going forward. So that's definitely huge. So it's roughly 360 some odd million per year for them on this alone, this deal for 12 years. That is locked in. That is not going away. Roughly, 381 million a year. That is huge. So Adam has done a fantastic job getting the company out of bankruptcy and then doing all of this stuff here. And they are looking to also grow their hash rate for Bitcoin mining as well. They are going to be a powerhouse that's going to be tough to beat, I think, going forward with everything that they got going on here. It's just amazing what they have done here. So kudos to those guys and the team there for getting this. Very excited to see what happens going forward for them. All right, so that's it for Core Scientific. Let's take a look at BitDigital here really quick. So BitDigital Inc. announces its monthly production update for July 2024. The company had 256 servers actively generating revenue from its initial BitDigital AI contract. As of July 31st, the company earned an estimated 4.3 million of unaudited revenue from this contract during the month of July. And that will increase once they also increase the new contract, which is going to happen possibly this month. So that should increase as well to with an additional 3 point some million, I think, per month going forward. So they'll be at approximately, 7 million something, or maybe even close to 8 million at that point. Let's see, company mined 60.5 BTC in July. There was a 1.9 decrease on that. Active hash rate was approximately 2.46. I'm a little bit higher on this when we look at my numbers here, because if I had a 2.46, they would actually be mining for more than 31 days, meaning that they were probably taking out older machines during that time frame, and I don't have those numbers as far as what those machines were taken out and when they were taken out. So I'm kind of going with what I had in June numbers for them in order to really kind of estimate as far as what they were mining for. Let's see, your treasury holdings, BTC, they had 641.8. Ethereum, they had 27,274. And that is basically it. And they stake a lot of it. They stake 17,184 of Ethereum. They get 3.3% on its annual, or let's see, position for a month. But Digital earned a blended APY, annual percent yield of approximately 3.3% on its staked Ethereum position for the month of July 2024. Okay. So that's it for that. Let's take a look at my numbers here for BitDigital here. So BitDigital has about 121 million shares outstanding. And also for you guys, I did add in here links to their website for all the companies, for the website, investor relations pages, and the news pages as well, because it's become really difficult to get the news that we are looking for through Yahoo. And this way it makes it easier for me to just go through this, click on the companies that I want, go to the news section and see what's the latest updates for them. So that's also available to you guys there. Well, Patreon members at least have access to that. And so do YouTube members as well. I think you guys will have that part of the PDF that I send out to you guys like every week or so. But going back, shares outstanding, 121 market cap, 333 million on that one. Their performance here over the last 12 weeks has been, I guess you could say, okay, it's been kind of mixed. They're up 38% from 12 weeks ago, 14% up from 8 weeks ago. They were down 16% from 4 weeks ago, and then last week they were down 18.13%. Okay. Current hash rate, I have them at 2.7. They came in, they said that they were at 2.4, something like that at the end of the month here. I don't know what they, like I said, uninstalled, got rid of that were maybe less efficient miners, things like that. So they're pretty much fully installed as it is right now. Bitcoin HODL 641, that's valued at 40 million. That's about 12% of the market cap right now. And then BTC production here, you can see that that has been coming down here ever since the halving event. And that's mainly because they are not installing hash rate or replacing older generation miners with newer miners, or even growing their hash rate. They're saying that they're going to get to 6 exahash sometime this year. Well, we're not seeing that right now, at least. Okay. Monthly Bitcoin revenue here has been coming down as well. 3.8 million roughly estimated for July here. Bitcoin HODL has increased a little bit here from June, so that's good there. Monthly hash rate, like I said, I have it at the same, but they did decrease it, so we will decrease that possibly for the August numbers there once that gets all normalized. Bitcoin sold here, they only sold 5 here in July. They sold a lot in June here, and that could have been whether it's to fund the HPC side of the business or other things as well, but they did sell quite a bit there. BTC per exahash efficiency, I have them at 21.91. BTC sold value, oh, they sold very little there. Going down here to institutions, oops, went too far. Institutions did increase here a little bit, 267. Shares went down to 49.8 million, and then percentage went down also to 41.45. We still have 1 strong buy rating, 3 buy rating, 0 holds, 0 non-performs, 0 sells. High target is still $6. Average is still $5.38, and the low actually went up to $4.80 for them on that one. Going down here, I was looking, I tried taking out some of the miners, like about 300 petahash of the miners in July. But like I said, at that point, I had them mining at over 31 days in order to get the revenue of 3.796 million, which coincides here with what I have for my calculations based on the average price of Bitcoin in the month and everything else on it. Let's see. Well, what else do we have here on that one? Yeah, so we had them mining in for 29 days roughly. I did add about 86,000 in Bitcoin transaction fees for them as well. And that's kind of what we have here. So we'll see on August what those numbers coming at for them as well. Based on all that, looking at the July numbers for them for the revenue at 93 million times, well, the revenue of July times 12, we get 93 million for them. And then my price targets for them would be like $5.80 to $8.87 or $8.70. And that does include the 4 million in HPC revenue. They're getting in that along with the Bitcoin mining revenue side of things for it. So that's kind of where we're at. If we look at the last 3 quarters that are final, along with the last quarter, which is quarter Q2, estimated having between 406 to 609. They're at 275. I do believe that they're undervalued. And I've said this before, I think they're undervalued because they don't own any infrastructure. They are asset light right now. So the only thing that they own is possibly the HPC servers and the Bitcoin mining ASICs as well. And that's it. All right, they lease I believe they're leasing the office space in New York someplace. So really no assets. The only other assets that they do have would be Bitcoin and Ethereum on their HODL position. Okay, so that is it. Takeaways for them: they just need to increase their hash rate. I think going forward, they need to buy some infrastructure as well to be not as asset light, maybe. And at that point, I think maybe that would value them much better. But that's kind of my take on it. I'd like to hear what you guys think on that one. Okay, next one here. Let's take a look at. It's going to be Iren. So Iren, July 2024 monthly investor update here. Key highlights here: 10.5 exahash installed as of August 5th. Sorry. Going down here. Okay. Bitcoin mined 222. That is a decrease from obviously in June where they were 233. Mining revenue here in US $1,000. So this was 13.59 million. Electricity costs came in at 13.6 million. They basically were mining at a loss. They were basically a slight loss. It was break even more or less, a slight loss. They lost, what was that? Between those two numbers here, 74 and 92, we're looking at 82,000 loss on the mining side of things here for the month of July. We can see here that revenue per Bitcoin was based on 61,306, and the electricity cost per Bitcoin was 61,677, and that's not good, right? Because if you look at June here and May of this year even, they were 39,000 electricity cost per Bitcoin and 35,000. I was thinking maybe this is a typo on them. Maybe this should have been like 41,000 or something like that, but it isn't because they actually acknowledge this down below. So this is not good. This is the first time that they had that bad of electrical price here recently. Let's see here. AI cloud services revenue came in at 1.2 million, almost 1.25 million roughly, which is a nice increase, and that has been growing for them here. So that's roughly about, what is that, 14 million or so, roughly a year on it. So it's nothing to sneeze about. It's actually pretty good for them. So that does help out a little bit there. And then down here, they actually go into mentioning the issue here. So increased electricity costs in July were primarily attributable to higher energy hedge pricing in the summer month at Childress. I'm hoping that's only for July and then not also for August. But they didn't say months, they said month at Childress, but with much lower than expected energy market volatility, which reduced energy trading opportunities, e.g., which resulted in a net electricity cost of a negative 8 cents per kilowatt during August 2023. So they did much better in August of last year compared to what they did this year on it. They got burned by trying to hedge it looks like. And the company is reassessing its future energy pricing structures. Yeah, you would think they would do that, especially if you're not making money on Bitcoin mining and your electricity cost is more than what you're mining or the price of Bitcoin mining. So yeah, they definitely need to figure out what the heck went wrong. How did they screw that up? And it better be only 1 month where they made the mistake. If we have another month of that, you're better off going with, instead of hedging, whatever the prevailing price is at that point, mining at that, I think, might be even better. And if you can get any lock-ins for like 3 years. When I was managing our mining farm for 5 years, the first 3 years we were able to lock in at 6.5 cents per kilowatt. And that was actually really good because we were a much, much, much smaller miner than any of these guys here are. We had roughly between 400 and 600 machines, and that was it. Those were like 13 terahash machines at that point. And we had, but nonetheless, I'm going back too far. But if you can lock it in with them and the amount of energy that they're drawing and everything else, they should be able to lock in closer to like probably somewhere between 5 and 6 cents per kilowatt hour if they can do that. Because this hedging strategy does not seem to work. It's been pretty good for them for the past couple of years, but all you need is that 1 month where it kind of throws everything off and puts you in the back a little bit. Also, current fleet efficiency of 24 joules per terahash is expected to improve to 17 joules per terahash by the end of the next month as part of the expansion to 20 exahash. So that's good news there. And I've heard a lot of you guys, maybe not you guys here, but some of you guys have been selling Iren, getting into other ones as well, mainly because of the one hiccup that they had here. I'm not concerned with that one hiccup because that can happen to any of them that are doing that. But hopefully they learn from this. The one thing you can hope is that they learn from this, never repeat this mistake again going forward, or do something where they can kind of lock in their rates a little bit better, possibly. Right? Okay. So if I see this happening in August as well for their update, then I might be concerned. Right now, I'm not too concerned about it. Yes, it's bad, but I don't think it's the end of the world here. What else do I have here? I think that is it. There's the data centers being built out. And yeah, they have been hiring also people for the HPC AI things here. Solutions engineer, DevOps engineer, systems engineer, network engineer, Infinity Band engineers, data center technicians, commercial managers, and marketing managers for recent HPC team hires. So that's pretty good there. All right, let's go take a look at the numbers that we do have here for them. Iren has about 186 million shares outstanding, market cap about 1.5 billion right now. And the performance over the last 12 weeks has been really mixed. I mean, they're not up nicely from 12 weeks ago, up 80% here. They're down 18% from 8 weeks ago. They're down 42% from 4 weeks ago. And then last week they were down 9.64%. Current hash rate 10.5. Future hash rate about 30 exahash. On that one, I'll have to look into it why that changed on me. But I'll take a look at it. I think I'm missing something there. Let's see, hodl, they don't hodl anything there. BTC production 2022 is down, so it's the lowest they've had here in the recent year. Bitcoin revenue value has also come down. This is, well, it's not the lowest, but it's at 13.93. It's the lowest after the halving event. Hash rate difference. Hash rate has continued to increase here, which is nice to see. BTC sold value, they sell everything that they mine. BTC per exahash efficiency is at 21.14, so that's pretty good there. Bitcoin sold value, we talked about that before. Going up over here to institutions and analysts, that did increase to 129 here. Shares also decreased actually a little bit here to 39.49 million, and then percentage went down to 26.3. We do now have 2 short buy ratings, that's an increase, and then 6 buy ratings, 0 hold, 0 underperform, 0 sells. Price targets went up to $26 for them. The average went up to $18.07, and the low went up to $12. So those are good signs there also. Going down here, what did we do here in July? We installed some more of these 190 terahash miners, and that got us to the 13.929 million in revenue here. So that's looking good there as well on it. And I think it's because I subdivided these out. I did not yet. Okay, so I found my mistake here. I need to add that into it as well. That brings us back up to 30 exahash. That needs to get this part added. And let's see here. This one we need to add as well. Okay, so that should be fixed now up top. Okay, going back up here, based on the July numbers for revenue times 12 months, I have in between 959 to 1438. They are at 838 as of yesterday. I did not update this. I didn't update this today, so as of yesterday. So it's probably down a little bit more. But they do appear to be undervalued for me. Even if we look at the last 3 quarters plus the Q2 numbers for them, which are estimated right now, I have in between 992 and 1487. So they are undervalued here. They were overvalued for a while there, but with everything coming down, they have come down as well. So right now is a pretty good time to get into them if you're thinking about doing so. All right. Takeaways from Iren. Big mistake on their part here for July. Hopefully it doesn't repeat. I'm guessing they probably won't. And then they need to continue on their growth going forward. And we'll see what kind of HPCI customers they can also get there possibly. That might be a big help for them also. So there's good things here. One bad month, not a big deal. If we start seeing multiple months that are bad, then it's time for a concern. All right, so that's it for Iren. Let's take a look at Marathon really quick as well. Marathon announces Bitcoin production and mining operations update for July 2024. Management commentary here. So our hash rate recovery effort at Allendale facility where we are hosted by Applied Digital is complete. And block wins in July increased 27% over the prior month, which is good, which is actually really good. So for Theo Morris, Chairman and CEO, BTC production last month rose 17% to 692 BTC compared to June. That includes their joint ventures in there as well. We'll take a look at what their numbers came in at for just their own pool, Mara pool, and on average, operational hash rate grew 5% over the same period to 27.5 exahash. We will continue to mine aggressively while global hash rate comes offline due to a lower BTC price and use all the tools at our disposal related to mining economics for maximum production. Okay, that's all great. Domestically, we have begun deploying our own technology to improve the operations at our sites. We are transitioning a large portion of our Granbury site from air-cooled to Mars immersion containers. Due to these deployments, our Granbury hash rate was lower in July, and we expect it to have temporary downtime at this location. The immersion containers will come online as they are completed, beginning with the first group of 18 that are energized in August. This work is expected to be finished before year-end. We remain focused on delivering on our 2024 hash rate goal of 50 exahash and continue to install and energize miners according to plan. Okay, so that's all great there. Okay, details here. Number of blocks this is through the Mara pool, 201. I came up with the same number, so my numbers for the BTC mines should be right on there. Average operational hash rate was 27.5. They had 31.8 energized. So there's a nice increase that they had there as well from prior month. Going down here, these are per site numbers, which is great that Mara provides these. So we had a little bit of a decrease here in Granbury. They're down to 2.7 exahash. Garden City was flat. Kearney was actually increased to 3.3 from the prior month here, which you have in this column. And then we have third-party hosted. You got McCamey. That's flat. Ellendale is actually flat. Jamestown actually increased to 2.1. And then all other various also increased to 3. I should have had that in green instead. But that did increase here. That's, I'm guessing, all of their JV stuff that they're doing there. And then let's see what else we have here. Total Bitcoin holdings increased tremendously here in July as well. 20,818. They had 18,536. That is way more than what they mined here in July. So I'm guessing that they purchased quite a boatload of it actually in July. Okay. Going down here, is there anything else? There isn't. Okay, so let's take a look at the numbers that we do have here for Marathon. Marathon has 294 million shares outstanding. Market cap is about 5 billion roughly. They haven't had a great run here in the last 12 weeks. They're only up 0.2% from 12 weeks ago. They're down 10% from 8 weeks ago, down 14% from 4 weeks ago, and they were down 20% last week as well. Currently, hash rate 31.5 exahash, future hash rate about 50 exahash. They are still have plenty of growth for them this year. It's going to be interesting to see how they pull that out because that is a lot to install here still. Bitcoin HODL, 20,818. That is huge. Valued at 1.3 billion. It is 26% of their market cap right now. Bitcoin self-mined here, this is what I calculated, was 646.7. That is still a nice increase here, and like seeing that is increasing actually after the halving event especially. So that's good there. Revenue has been increasing as well, so that's good. Bitcoin HODL, you can see how huge of an increase they had here in July. Hash rate increase, actually hash rate went down a little bit for their self-mining here based on what they reported here. They were at 31.5. Let me make sure that I have that right. Going up here. Let's see. Yeah, all other various is 3 exahash, so that was increased from that. They were, let's see here. Total was 31.8. So for the self-mining, I have them at, should be, take away 28.8. What do I have them at? 28.8. Yeah, so that's self-mining there as well. So that works out. BTC per exahash efficiency 22.39. Actually, pretty good efficiency here on their side this month in July, which is really good. Bitcoin sold, they didn't sell anything. They actually increased by 1,590. Right, they reported they had mined. What was it? 692, and they actually increased it by 1,590. So I mean, they must have bought quite a bit there. I'm guessing. I don't know how else they would have gotten to that point. Let's see. Yes, about 100 million or so here that they purchased into it, which I think they reported that they purchased $100 million worth of Bitcoin, roughly, back in sometime in July. So yeah, that makes sense. We talked about that. Going down here to institutions and analysts. Institutions did increase by quite a large margin here to 477. Shares also increased to should have been probably 123 million. I'll double check that because that's, yeah, percentage increase. It should have been like 123,400,000 or something like that. Let's fix that. I forgot to put in a 0 maybe there. There we go. 123. Yep. Okay. We still have 2 strong buy ratings, 2 buy ratings, 5 hold ratings, 1 underperform rating. Price targets stay the same for a high, $27. The average went down to $22.81, and the low actually increased to $20 for them. Going down here to their numbers here. So with the 692 Bitcoin mined, they came in at 43 million. And then their self-mining came in at 40.5 million here, roughly. Going into July numbers here, I did take out some machines here for that, and I added 3 exahash basically to the JVs. Don't know exactly what machines are in those. I'm guessing it's 140 exahash on average, something like that, maybe even higher. This is just kind of what I'm guessing there roughly. And we took out some of these machines as well. Those are going to be temporary until they can actually get those installed into the immersion cooling systems at that point. And I think everything else should be the same here, except for I did not take it out of here. So I'll get this updated. I forgot to take it out in August and September numbers for them. But yeah, we'll get that updated. Well, we'll see what happens in August, but in September as well on those. Okay, so that's how that all works out there. Going back up here to my numbers, looking at July numbers for revenue times the 12 months, we're looking at 1654 to 2480. They're at 1695. They're probably up a little bit from where they were yesterday, so maybe around 17 something. So they are undervalued right now, in my opinion here. And if we look at the last 3 quarters plus the current quarter that we just finished in Q2, or actually now we're looking at the last 3 quarters are actually we're looking at the September quarter number, which is estimated. We have the last 3 quarters, Q1, Q4, and Q3, which are actual numbers for them. I'm in between 1807 and 2710 on that one. Okay, so that is it. It's nice to see that they are actually improving their efficiencies, uptime, all that stuff, and that they are still on track to get to 50 exahash this year. Really no qualms for them right now. They're doing much better than where they were at the beginning of the year. They have been resolving their issues, which is good to see as well. And that was basically my concern there on that one. But yeah, that's basically it. So, as always, my little sales pitch. Patreon members, my dear Patreon members, have access to all these spreadsheets. Link is down in the description for that if you want to join there. It's $8 a month. If you pay the annual subscription, it's 10% off, and then you might be able to find a couple spots with the $5 or $4 tier range. Those you get access to all the stuff as well. And you get access to the private Discord server as well on top of that. All right, that's it for my sales pitch. Let's get into your guys' Q&A side of things here, see where things take us in the discussion at that point. But I'm going to take a sip of my water here. All right, where are we at here? Going to the Q&A side of things. All right. See, Victor C. Is Iren's electricity problem easy to fix? Yeah, they were hedging it. So they were, the best way I can explain is they were hedging that the prices were going to be more volatile than they weren't. And that's how they got burnt on it. So if they don't hedge it as much, or they fix their hedge, however they were looking at it going forward, I think it shouldn't be a problem. Because the last 2 years, there was absolutely no problem with them on the electricity costs. So I do think it's an easy fix for them, that they should be able to fix that going forward, unless they signed some contracts for 3 months or something like that. Then we might be in 3 months of pain at that point, and that's just, that might be bad on them. And at that point, we'll have to reevaluate if we want to get into it, or we better get a much better explanation from Dan Roberts there as far as what the heck happened, how did they let that happen, and what are the plans going forward. Okay, what else we got here? Riot will have BTC production beyond 800. If they get to like 50 exahash, they could get there. What did Riot have here? I can't remember. Riot for the month of July had 370, 800. I mean, they're at, what are they at right now? 23. Yeah, if they can get to 50 exahash relatively quickly, but they're planning to get to 31 exahash this year. We got to remember also that the network hash rate is going to increase, meaning that they're going to be mining less as time goes forward. Even though they might be increasing their hash rate, so you got to get that done pretty quick. So that might be a tough feat to get to 800 BTC per month. Let's see. Is Marathon a good buy now with the July update? Do you have any concerns? No, they're doing much better. So I would give it my stamp of approval, I guess you could say. If I had the cash, I would possibly get into them right now. I don't have the cash. I bought last week Thursday, and I bought some more yesterday on the dip as well. But their numbers are much better. Their uptime is much better. They're increasing their hash rate as well, and they're upgrading their systems to the immersion cooling, which should help also. So they are looking much better on that side of things here. What does electricity hedge means, please? It means you're hedging that the price is either going to be higher. It's the same thing with hedging your bets on stocks and things like that. How can I explain this to you guys? I don't have a really good explanation on it. I know how it works basically, and the principles behind it, but I just don't have a good way to explain it to you guys. I don't have the background for it. When I was working with our consultant for electricity for the little mining farm that we managed, they said that they could do hedging for us at that point. He explained it to us. So this is going back 7 years, and we actually decided to go with a locked-in price. It was maybe a little bit higher, but it was a little bit more consistent. So there's benefits to hedging where you could get a much lower cost, 10 to 20% maybe lower than you would normally without hedging, even maybe lower than that. So that's kind of the way you have to look at it. And they've done a really good job here over the last, like I said, 2 years. They've been hedging it the whole time, possibly. And I think they have been hedging it actually that long. So they messed up 1 month here. I'm willing to give them a benefit of the doubt there. CP says Mara is a great buy if this is the bottom. Yeah, I mean, they're doing a lot better. So, yeah, I can't argue with that. Let's see. I will wait to... Bevneed says I will wait to see another month before buying Iren. Fair enough, right? A lot of people were freaked out by today's numbers. I'm totally understandable here. My thing is I'm more looking out the next 12 to 18 months possibly. Actually, probably going to be less than that now because we're like, 3 months past the halving event. So we're looking at 12 to 15 months roughly. And if I see another month of it, then that would give me concern for them. 1 month being off month. Okay, it's not great, but it's not the end of the world here, I think. Do you think they'd hodl BTC if their costs are so high? Who's that? Are you talking about Marathon or Iren at that point? I mean, yeah, not sure which one you're talking about. Question, do you know why BitDeer went up almost 22% up at some point today? I think it was just their operational update that they came out yesterday. I don't think, did they report their numbers here today? I don't think they did. Let me take a look. Let's take a look at BitDeer on my sheet here. Where is it? BitDeer. Looking to see if they reported their numbers for, no, August 5th was the last announcement for them. On that one, this was, yeah, we talked about that yesterday on their July update for them. So I don't know. I think it just could be that they have really good growth going forward into 2025, and that they're also going to be manufacturing their own ASIC machines, which is going to be a huge cost savings for them on that part of things. So they do have a lot of things going for them, but it's not until like 2025 and 2026 really. Let's see. Brad says if Bitcoin goes up, then yes, Mara explodes in price with their hodl. It's not just only their hodl, just their operations are improving also. Hey Sebastian, great content tonight. Question, do you think it would be wiser to dump Bitfarms and grab Mara? They have been improving their operations and that hodl is huge. Okay, good question. You guys know I'm a bull on Bitfarms as well. My only concern with Bitfarms is the hangover of Riot trying to buy them out. So I don't know if that's going to keep the stock depressed or, you know, kind of like they have a foot down on it. And that's the only thing. So if you're worried about that, then I would say, yeah. I'm still a little bit more optimistic probably than you guys are on Bitfarms' potential going forward. But if you're concerned about that, then I would say, yeah, probably sell Bitfarms and get into like Marathon, which I think is going to do really well with Bitcoin going up and everything else. Like I've said before, they have the name recognition also. So they have a lot of things going for them. As long as they can keep their operations, because we've seen this before, where their operations improve, and then the following month, their operations turn to crap again. So if they can maintain these operations levels with much better uptime and everything else for the next couple of months, then I would say, yeah, that would be a pretty good bet. So let's see. How many BTC per month can Bitfarms have by the end of December? So we're looking at if they can get to 21 exahash. You know, it's not easy to tell. Let's take a look at Bitfarms here really quick. Over here, they mined. What did they mine here? In July. Where's my numbers? There it is. 253. So 253 at approximately 11 exahash or so on them. If they double that, you would think that they would double their number of Bitcoin being mined as well. right? But that's not actually the case here. I think we might be 20% less roughly. If the network hash rate right now is around 600 exahash on average for 30 days, it's probably come down because of Bitcoin price coming down, but on average, it's right around 600 exahash. If we go up, well, it might be even less than that. Let's say the network hash rate goes up to 900 exahash by the end of the year. Excuse me, and that's based on a lot of these miners increasing their hash rate, improving efficiencies as well. So let's just say it goes up 50% from where it is right now. So that would mean at that point that they would be generating possibly, what would that be, 50% less on the Bitcoin. So if we're saying that they're going to double their hash rate by the end of the year, that should get them to about 500 Bitcoin, where we are right now. So that's 250. I think it might be half of the 250 that's going to be increasing. So we're looking at 125 on top of that. So I would think they would be right around 370 to 400 Bitcoin per month, possibly somewhere around there. If we get around those numbers, just running the numbers in my head here really quick. I would have to actually do the math on it to see where it would actually end up at, but that's kind of where I would think. Okay. Next question here. Let's see. P says, converting Iren into Bitfarms. I own both. Yeah, there might be some pain here in the short term for Iren. I will agree with you guys there. Not a lot of people are happy with what happened. But I may see this, and I do look at this as be greedy when others are fearful. Be fearful when others are greedy. I'm going to be greedy on this part. If Iren does go down below my average or something like that, my average is, what is it, $7 something, or $6 something, I will be buying more because I think that there is still such a huge potential for them going forward. Yeah. Bevneet says, one thing I like about Mora, they go down less than other miners. Yeah, and I think that's mainly because they have a huge hodl position. That helps kind of cushion them a little bit. Let's see. Also, remember when you were worried about core hiring marketing for HPC, that paid off. Yeah, that did pay off. Yeah, I was wrong on that. They've done a fantastic job, but they only have one customer there right now. How much are they marketing to other customers as well? Right? So it's, yeah, I mean, I was off by a little bit, but they're dealing with the same customer that they dealt with before in, what was it, 2020? They were dealing with CoreWeave at that point for for GPU mining, and they're dealing with the same customer there. So if they're using marketing, hiring people for marketing, where are the other customers coming from? We're not seeing that. But maybe in time we will see that. Let's see. Lazaro says, people are so quick to judge Iren from just one bad month. I'm sure they know what they did wrong, and we'll fix it. People just gotta stay patient. I agree. That's kind of the way I'm looking at it. Let's see. I'm not sure what you're asking here. Mara and Cleanspark at their current prices, are they good buys? Yeah, I think they are good buys right now. Chris says, move all your miners into Riot. Thanks me later. Riot, I need to see much better uptime. They were, based on yesterday's numbers, Rockdale was at 65% utilization and Corsicana was at 75%. So I need to see those numbers be better. Pieces miner is risky business, so only invest in the best. Yes, risky, very volatile as well. You got to have a thick skin on those guys and a pretty good stomach for it also. How are Cleanspark and Bitfarms looking on cost to mine? Cleanspark and Bitfarms for electricity prices, I think they're both like in the mid 30s to high 30s to low 40s, somewhere around there. We'll get those numbers once they report their Q1 numbers. Are there one or two miners that are better set up to be able to provide HPC services for additional revenue like CORZ? TeraWolf, I think, has a really good setup. They're close to, was it a lake there or a river? I can't remember. At their facility. So they have access to basically cooling for water, right, to cool some of these data centers when they do build them out. If they do build them out, they are building this stuff out. So, yeah, I think TeraWolf is pretty well suited there. Who else? What do I think? BitDigital has a good customer that's paying them around $100 million a year on that. Who else would there be? Iren's got a customer now that's paying him $1.2 million a month, or a couple customers maybe there, but they're shorter term contracts on that one. Who else? Cypher, you could look into also. Cypher, there's rumors around Cypher being possibly bought out by a hyperscaler or something like that. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Hive has a lot of GPUs that they could also transition. Well, they have been transitioning over to HPC AI. So there's a couple of them that are doing that. A lot of those guys are also testing the waters. So, what would be a entry price for Mara? Well, Marathon is at, where are they at? Let's see. Their stock price today was $17.25. I think, if you were able to get them yesterday, you're doing pretty good here. If you got them at, where was the low here? Anywhere close to like $13, $14 on them yesterday, you're doing really good. And I still think, look at this. They were at $34 here. This was back on February 24th. They were as low as this before also in April. And they've been coming back up here, so that we had a huge decrease here in stock price. They are bouncing back up. I think anywhere between now and like $20 is a good entry point on them. I think at that point, you can still do at least a 3 to 5x going forward, but with Bitcoin going up to like 100,000, 150,000, 200,000 maybe at the top there as well. That's kind of where I would look at it. So, yeah. Okay, going back here. Are you still averaging into Iren? Yeah, I bought Iren last Thursday. I bought it Monday as well. I didn't get the bottom of it, but I did get a pretty good discounted price on it at that point. And if the stock goes down even more, I will be buying more of it as well. What do you think of price prediction of Bitfarms if BTC is at 75,000? That's not much from here. That's roughly 20,000 from where we are. What is that going to be? That's roughly 33% increase or something like that from where we are right now. 33, 40%, whatever that might be. So at that point, we're looking at maybe a 2x on Bitfarms price. Maybe if we get to 75. Well, not even that. I would say maybe 1.5x to like 2x at that point. Let's see, Jordan K. Meant Iren with hodl question. So Iren does not hodl anything. Would they be better off hodling something? I think so. I think there's a benefit to hodling at certain times. You don't want to hodl it through the bull market all the way and then into the bear market again. You want to, take profits at that point and use that to grow your company as well. But they don't hodl anything right now. See, HT Tech says if it costs Iren more to mine Bitcoin than its current price, they should hodl it until it rips, in my opinion. Yeah, so instead of selling it, so whatever it was it what was the revenue on that? Oh gosh, going back here, I wish my memory was better on these things. But they generated about 14 million here in July. So instead of selling it all, you're saying to hold it until Bitcoin goes up 2 or 3x. Yeah, that could be also, that's one strategy that some companies are also using as well. Ones that hodl, Riot, Bitfarms, Cleanspark, Riot, Marathon, Cypher, Digital to a certain extent, Hive as well. All those guys are kind of using that strategy in one way or another. So yeah, that's definitely one way you could do it. Let's see. Yeah, just answer that. Does Iren hold any BTC? They do not. Let's see. I like it. No commercials today. Nice. So yeah, it's all based on Google and how many. I think it maybe depends on how many people are viewing it. The more people are viewing it, the maybe more commercials that they're throwing into it. I have no control over that. Let's see. What else we here? Rick says Morgan Stanley starts pushing BTC ETFs tomorrow. Do you see this having a sizable impact on BTC price? I don't know. We had the ETFs start, when was it, January? We had a pretty nice run up here to 73,000, and then we've been coming down before the halving event and after the halving event a little bit here. So we'll have to see how much of an impact Morgan Stanley has on and how well they can sell Bitcoin ETFs. When can Bitfarms do 17 exahash? They're supposed to be there probably towards the end of the third quarter, start of fourth quarter possibly. I think Ben has said that a lot of the growth is going to be happening in the fourth quarter as they're building out right now to get to that. see. Hi, Seb, are you expecting Bitcoin price to hold at current price or down? Is it a good time to add Iren at this current price? Thank you. Yes, I do think Iren is a good price to get into. It might fall a bit more because of what happened in July. People are just panicking on that. So if you have dips on it, I would buy into it. That's kind of what I'm planning on doing as well. And will Bitcoin hold its current price? Actually, I'm hoping Bitcoin can actually goes up from here. We'll see. It's tough to see where anything's going to go. It looked like it was going to do much better before all the news that we had come out here recently in the last couple of days. Where do I want to go? I want to go over here. I want to do this. Bitcoin, you can see here, it was oversold here on the daily. It was way oversold here on the 4-hour chart, on the 1-hour chart as well. And it's coming back up here on the weekly. If we look at that, it's back to the same level where it's kind of been going back to before it kind of bounces at 46 here. And we got here, then we bounced. We came back down to it here. We bounce. We'll see if we get another bounce off of this low here, or if it goes up and then comes back down. Well, we might be coming down to like the 47,000 mark here, potentially, if that happens. So it's kind of hard to tell right now. But we're in August right now. Typically, like September, October start being better months for Bitcoin in general. So it might be still choppy waters here for a couple more weeks before things really start to pick up, I think. But I could be wrong. We'll have to wait and see. Okay. Which miner do you think might be in risk of not meeting their exahash projections? Gosh. I think they will all get close, if not reach their goals for the most part. My concern would be probably my highest concern is with Cleanspark. I don't know if they have enough megawatts to get to the 32 exahash that they're planning to get to, so I think they have to buy some more, which they are buying. They're going to be closing on the other side in Wyoming later on this month, so that should help there. And they got to build out as well. So if they can build out in time, then yes, they should be able to reach it. Which one do I not think might get it? I think Iren's in pretty good shape to get to the 30 exahash that they're trying to get to. Riot also should be in pretty good shape there. We'll see. It's going to be close. The targets can be off by, I'll give them a little bit of leeway as well. So if they don't get to their targets like the end of the year, December 31st, I'm not going to punish them for it. Things go beyond your control a lot of times. If they can get there within the next month or two, I think that's actually pretty good. Because things, like I said, things are sometimes out of your control. So I wouldn't really worry about it if they are not quite there exactly at the end of the year. But as long as they're close to it and they have a good path to get to there within the next month or two, I'm okay with that. As long as it's not a year. As long as it's not a year, then I think we're good. Let's see. W says, part one, every cycle, most pundits were wrong on BTC target. This cycle, experts are again overly bullish with diminishing returns. 140,000 9x from 15,000 seems more realistic than 150,000 plus. Yeah, I would agree with you. My target was 180,000 here. We'll see where it goes. That's based on the Bitcoin price being higher, meaning you're going to get less of an X return going forward, but I think the price will go up higher. Maybe. We'll see. W says part two, if BTC hits 100,000, Cleanspark, or with Bitfarms, Cleanspark, Mar, Iren, CORZ, still 2-3x from here. What is their cost basis? What is their cost basis? Are you asking about the cost basis on Bitcoin mining? And will they still 2 to 3x from here? Yeah, that's basically a 2x for Bitcoin at that point. I would expect the miners to do at least a 2x, if not better than that, maybe even 3 to 4x. Semfood says, hi, Seb, Riot is going to surprise investors. HODL plus their mining facilities learn their lessons. I'm hoping that they learn their lessons, yes. If they can do those things, the HODL, the improved hash rate, improved uptime, then yes, I think they will do much better. DK says, thanks, Sebastian, you are great. Thank you so much for coming in. Let's see, I appreciate that. Also, KCS, did you see the tweets between Mike and Ben? I did see that. Did take a look at it here. It was a nice little jab by Ben on Mike a little bit, and Mike kind of jabbed at Ben first, and then Ben jabbed back a little bit. But yeah, Said my average on Iren is mid $10. Am I screwed? I don't think so. My average is like right around $7 something, seven something. I'm not too far off from where they are right now. Also, I'll be dollar cost averaging more into it if it does fall, because I do think that they still have really good future potential. They're going to be getting to 30 exahash by the end of this year. They're looking to grow even more next year. They do have a small customers right now for HPC AI that's generating some revenue for them, at least $1 million. It's not some, it's pretty good. So I think there's potential is there. They made a mistake in August. Let's see how they do going forward. Okay. What else we got here? Mars chart on Yahoo goes back to 2013, and their all-time high one was 135. What were they doing in 2013? Mining? No, they were a patent troll. They switched into Bitcoin mining in like 2018, I think it was 2018 or 2019, maybe even 2017, I can't remember. But they were a patent troll at that point. They had patents on their books, and they were going after anybody that was using their patents, and they were suing the heck out of them. So that's how they were making their money. John says, thank you again, Seb. You're very welcome. Thank you for coming in here. Given that your thesis depends on Bitcoin price, are you concerned about this bull run being more muted and lengthened this cycle and onward with BTC being a more mature asset? Yes, that is one of the things that I've been saying here over the last couple of weeks, because this cycle is different. We're seeing that we had the new all-time high before the halving event. We got more institutions. We got countries now getting into it. So one of my concerns is that we will have this potentially multi-year cycle where Bitcoin goes up and down and up and down, up and down. We're not going to have these kind of bear markets where Bitcoin goes down 70, 80%, along with the miners going down 90% or something like that. So that is a concern there. How will that be priced in on the miners? Right? If Bitcoin's going up slowly, let's say Bitcoin's only at 75, 80,000, or let's just say maybe 85, 90,000 by the end of the year, right? Much slower growth. Next year, we get to only maybe 120,000 by the end of the year. And then the following year, we get to maybe 150,000 or something, whatever that is. But we still have that kind of growth, but it's much smaller. How much of an impact will that have on the miners, especially as they have to increase their hash rate? The network hash rate is going to go up. All of those things have to be taken into consideration here. So we need to really pay attention to what's going on with Bitcoin on it. Yeah, so I do agree. I think there's a little bit of concern right now, but we'll have to see. Which one more undervalued, Cleanspark or Iren right now? I would have to say Cleanspark is at, what are they at? At 1226. I think they can still get at least like a 5x that Bitcoin goes to where I think it might go. Iren is at $8 today. I think it still could do like possibly 8 to 10x. My original target for Iren was $80 this cycle. Cleanspark was 70. So in that regard, I would say Iren is possibly a little bit more undervalued right now. Let's see. Which are his top two miners? Does anyone know? If you're asking me, that would be Cleanspark is my number one. It was before this week. Iren was my number two, and now it's actually Bitfarms on that one. But that's kind of those are my top three miners there. And then I do have also some CORZ in there as well. The part two correction, not cost basis, but break even Bitcoin price for the miners to stay afloat. After the halving, it's closer. If you include all in costs, cash costs, not including anything else that's share-based compensation, depreciation, all that stuff, the number was around Bitcoin having to be around, for some of these miners, around, what was it, 50, 60,000, I think, at that point, in order for them to just break even, just on cash costs. But some of them were also higher, depending on the miner. So we were in a range when I calculated from like 50,000 up to like some miners being at 90,000 at that point. He says, so far I just skipped through 10 commercials since the live stream, but it's worth it. Oh gosh, I hope you hadn't had to go through that many. I thought they would only put in like maybe 2 or 3 commercials, in there, but if they're putting in that many, and I'll have to see if I can adjust it. The LTD lawn service says Bitfarms has been drowning in FUD, maybe just a longer hold than I anticipated. Was looking for 3x by fourth quarter. Maybe you have to hope for second quarter or third quarter. Yeah, my estimates were possibly in 2025 sometime that they would do that. But if Bitcoin goes to like 100,000, 120,000 by the end of the year, we could definitely see a 3 to 4x, if not a 5x out of Bitfarms. Okay. Which miner is the most undervalued right now? As of yesterday, if we use yesterday numbers, I can show you guys yesterday numbers. I don't have the numbers for today. Let's go over here. We'll look at we'll just look at enterprise value to exahash on it. Let's see it really quick. I think I still have that data on there. Where's it at? And I haven't done it. We're going to talk about that tomorrow. Enterprise metrics. Here it is. So based on this Hive right now, on current hash rate at 34 million, so they're the most undervalued based on their hash rate, followed by Riot at 58 million. If we look at future hash rate at that point, we still have Riot and Hive battling it out there, but then we also Bitfarms, Iris, Cleanspark, right? Some of the big guys here, they're being valued much lower than some of these other guys that don't have a lot of growth. BitDeer, BitDigital, Terrawolf, Hot 8 are being valued much higher. Excuse me. I would expect that to flip eventually as Bitcoin starts going up in value. So these are the ones for future hash rate. These are the ones I would look into. Core, Marathon, Cypher, maybe even should do better than some of these other guys down here. Okay. And I'll get this updated when we do talk about it tomorrow, possibly video as well. Okay. Let's see. He says, I don't skip ads on this channel. Let this guy make money. Appreciate it. Thank you for his huddle. And I've recommended to you guys, if you guys can afford it, try getting the YouTube Premium because it is just so much time savings involved in that, especially if you watch a lot of videos. I watch a lot of videos also, but I watch them at like 1.5x speed or sometimes even 2x speed on sometimes. It just saves you so much more time doing that. And also if you pay for the premium, you don't get any ads. It's fantastic. And it's well worth it in my opinion, at least. LTD says also, and hit the like button. Yeah, where's Andrea today? I'm missing her. Usually she's my biggest cheerleader for like buttons. But yeah, thank you. Pat says, people panic too quickly Monday morning. People panic, sold in market almost recovered fully. Hold on to your position, lads, and look at the big picture. Very positive on Iren still. Yeah, I agree with you. I am of the same opinion. When I see dips, unless there's something fundamentally wrong with the business, then I would be getting out. But there's nothing fundamentally wrong with the business. They had a bad month, yes, but they can fix it quickly. Same thing with the other miners that dipped a lot yesterday. Like I said, I wanted to buy in the bottom, but I couldn't. I put my limit orders in, and then they never filled. So I had to wait until the afternoon. I was hoping the miners would actually go down a little bit, but they didn't. So long-term picture, you got to look at that. Short-term, there's going to be a lot of volatility. Invest in companies that have good growth, good management, good uptime, healthy balance sheets. They will do really good going forward. But you got to be patient on those guys. Brett says, I was definitely panic buying on Monday morning. If you were able to get it Monday morning, congrats to you. I was not able to. Yeah, Pat says, I had the same thing. I had the same thing happen to me. Let's see. Rick says, Iren seems to be hiring a lot for their HPCI team along with hiring Morgan Stanley as advisors. Has there been any chatter on potential customer developing? Nothing yet. Nothing that we've heard. So we'll see. Was the Cypher buyout news fake? Maybe, maybe not. But if it was fake, I think it would have came out saying that that was fake. But there was something that Cypher put out, I think, stating that they are going through the process or whatever the process is through the their board has to do the due diligence and all that stuff. So maybe I don't think it's fake. There might be some to it. Maybe they just can't agree on a number right now, and we'll see when that news comes out if they agree to something or if they didn't agree to something. Let's see. Curious, why did Iren go down in your prioritization number 3? Not because of prioritization. It's equal prioritization right now for Bitfarms and Iren for me to when I buy them in. So when I put in 2,000 on Thursday, half went to Iren, half went to Bitfarms. Same thing on Monday. I did the same thing, another 2,000. Bitfarms got 50%. Iren got 50% of that as well. So it's not based on that. It's just because Iren, based on my portfolio percentage-wise, that has dipped more than Bitfarms has. So that's took him down a little bit below Bitfarms right now. Before, Iren was above it. Cleanspark was number 1. Cleanspark was like 30-some-odd% of my portfolio. And then Bitfarms, or Iren was like at 14%, and Bitfarms was like 13% of it. So that's what I'm talking about there. Thoughts on upcoming Bitfarms earnings report, forward guidance, expectations. Do you see a target higher than 35 for 2025? yes, with Ben at the helm right now, I think they are going to be targeting for higher. 35 is what they're kind of saying right now. And it's still early, so I would imagine they could possibly get to like 40, 45, maybe even 50 next year, as long as they continue to grow there. As far as guidance, I think it's going to be, they were down in Q1 numbers for EPS. I think it's going to be the same thing here in Q2 as well. It's going to be close though, but I think they're going to be down. Plus, they can't take advantage of the FSB rules because they are in Canada. So that doesn't really help them there or hurt them at all. Let's see, Bevanite says, I do believe it will be a lengthened cycle. However, Bitcoin still has to rip at some point. Yeah, I would hope so. 79 Satosh says, thanks for doing these streams, Seb. You are an invaluable source of information. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you guys all for coming in here. I do this, well, for one, I was bored during the pandemic and had all this information anyway, so I'm like, might as well share it. And then you guys are coming in here, and then it's actually turned into at least somewhat of a revenue generating stream for me on the side here. So I do appreciate you guys coming in. See, did Riot say their cost per coin was 25,000? Well, let's take a look at that. I don't remember it, so let's take a quick gander here into Riot. See what they reported on their press release. Where's it at? Here. Okay. Screen. Go down here to news. Open link. What do we got here? Riot announces July 2024 production update. Okay. What is their cost? What do they say here? 3.2 million. They got power credits. Let's see. Do we have the actual cost? Let's see. Maybe I missed it, but I don't think they did. Rise power strategy. Looking for numbers here. I don't see any information. Infrastructure update. Rockdale. Estimated hash rate growth. I don't see anything here, but their cost here. What was their cost per kilowatt hour? All-in power cost. Rockdale was 3 cents. All-in power cost, and of course, Canada was 3.9 cents. That was an increase here from, was this July numbers? June numbers, yeah. That was an increase here. All-in power cost Kentucky was 3.6 cents. So all-in power cost total was 3.4. That's still pretty low there. So that should keep them quite low on it. And we'll have to see what that actually comes in at once they report, or did they already report their numbers for Q? They did report their Q numbers. And I think I had them at, where was it at? Without depreciation, that's not including all costs. Where's it at? Custom mine, one Bitcoin mine's depreciation came in at 41,000 for them. On it. That's kind of what I got there. So they were at 30,000 at the Q1, right? We had the halving event afterwards. 41,000 is kind of where I'm at right now. That's just cost of mining minus depreciation at that point. Okay. So I'm not sure where you're getting the 25,000, but maybe that's also including maybe the wages for the employees for those facilities. I'm not sure. Can you explain your reasons why you think Riot won't be able to buy Bitfarms? One of the reasons is if, let's just say Riot gets to close to 20% ownership in Bitfarms. The institutions also, based on what I'm seeing here from Webull, is only about 21%. So that gives them about 41%. You still need a majority in order for that to go through. So unless you have people, shareholders that are also going to be voting for it, I don't see them getting to that based on that. But okay, let's just say that they do even have that. Right now, the board meeting in October is going to be to implement basically 3 board members of Riot's choosing. And we're going to be voting on that. We'll see if they can get the votes for that through everybody. So if you are a Bitfarms board or Bitfarms shareholder of record at a certain date, you really got to be voting on this if you really don't want Riot to take them over. Or if you do want them, you really should be voting on it that way too. So it's a good way to figure out the sentiment of where things stand at that point. And hopefully by then, Bitcoin will be up at least higher, where Bitfarms stock price is going to be also higher, because at that point, Riot is going to need to pay a premium on Bitfarms in order to take him out. And which I don't think at like, if Bitfarms gets to like maybe $4 or something like that, it's going to be really, really costly. It doesn't really make any sense for them to try to buy them out at that point. Because even if they do put in a bid, let's say $4 or $5, whatever it might be, it's still going to take at least 6 to 12 months to probably go through all the regulatory hurdles through Canada, United States, and all that stuff in order for that to happen. So I don't know. that's kind of the reason why I'm thinking it won't go through. Plus, Ben said that there's no, well, he didn't say there's no way, but they are working out to be bought out. So, Jordan says politics will also play a big role in this cycle. Possibly, yeah. But we've had Bitcoin running through Democrats, Republicans, whoever's in the office, doesn't really matter. Bitcoin does its thing here. So I'm not sure how much that's going to really play into it. Brett says, what I've learned is that now is actually the time to buy Iren. When the FUD is highest, you basically have to believe in the team. Can Dan thread the needle? If you think he can, you can go in hard now. Yeah, exactly. I would agree with that. Victor says, thanks for the update and research. You're very welcome. Jordan, number 1 on YouTube Premium, +1. Yeah, it's a great service for you guys. Sadie, thumbs up. Thank you. Let's see. Bitfarms new post that Pay now fully operational, 3 exahash, and Yagusa under construction. Yes. Andrea, there's my Andrea. Thank you. Smash the like button again. Appreciate it. Let's see. How much YouTube deduct from the super chat if you don't mind disclosing? I have no idea. I don't know if they still take the 30% on top of that. I don't know how that works, or if I get the full amount. I'm sure they're taking something for it. The revenue right now this month is looking like maybe it's going to be right around $600, and that includes super chats for YouTube. So it's not a huge portion of it. The Patreon members are the big contributor there. So thank you to everyone there, and thank you to you guys watching also. I mean, that does help also. Let's see. Patrick says, I added 8,000 shares of Bitfarms and 3,000 shares of Hive this morning when Canada market opened. Nice. Let's see. Sebastian, can you comment both on Iren Bitfarms faulty Bitmain T21 miners? Well, Bitfarms says faulty miners. They had a batch that was faulty. They have other miners that have been without a problem. So I think it's just a bad batch, possibly. Those things can happen. Let's see. When do you think the cycle's bull run will start to end? This November? No. Gosh, I hope it is this November. The cycle's bull run will start to end. Not this November. I'm thinking sometime next year, possibly mid-year, if we have a repeat of previous cycles. We'll be starting to get up pretty high, probably towards September, October. I think right around there might be the peak before once we start going down. If we have a repeat. If we don't have a repeat and we continue to go up slowly, gosh, I don't know at that point. Do you foresee another BTC crash before the end of the year? Yeah, I wouldn't say a crash. I would say a correction. We are down, from the top to the bottom, we were at 33% this time around. Last year, we were all going down 20%, 22%. So you got to expect those. You can't have everything going up all the time. Let's see. If the thought experiment of lengthened cycle, e.g. Bitcoin hits your target of in 2026, will any of the top picks still survive? Good to prepare for all scenarios. Yeah, I don't know. Will they still survive if it's 2026? I mean, depending on how the network hash rate goes, how much there is from Bitcoin transaction fees, there's a lot of what ifs that go into it. It's not that easy. If Bitcoin goes to this, and what will miners do? There's a lot of variables that also contribute to it. Ed says, what concerns me about voting is the retail voting turnout. What percentage of the 60% retail would turn out and actually be voting? I mean, well, yeah, that's the tough part there. So that's why we got to get the word out, I guess. And if you're for it, okay, vote for it. If you're against it, then vote against it. But we definitely need the turnout. That's the hard part, which you're right. Which has more upside from today's price of Bitfarms or Iren? I think they're pretty close. It's going to be a tough one there. Bitfarms is pretty down as well from where I think they should be, so that I think they can still get at least maybe an 8 to 10x from where they are right now. Same thing with Iren. I think we might be where they are right now. Yeah, 8 to 10x as well. I mean, they're pretty close. They're both beaten down pretty good. Bevanite says, I do believe it'll be a lengthened cycle. However, Bitcoin still has to rip at some point. I hope you're right. All right. I think we're going to call it a day here. Where are we at here? We're at an hour and 14 roughly. And I think I've come up to all you guys' questions here. So again, thank you so much for coming in here. As always, the spreadsheets are available to my Patreon members. Link is down in the description for that. Well, all the miners have already reported their June or July numbers, which I'm surprised. That's the 6th of August, and everybody has already reported. In the past, I've had to wait like 10 to 14 days in the new month before all those have come out. So it's getting better out there for the miners who are reporting, which I love seeing because I've never had this happen in the last 2.5 years or 3 years that I've been doing this. It's always been a struggle to get some of the miners to report within like 2 weeks even. So that's great news. We'll look at possibly which miners were the best in production for July, uptime, all that stuff. We'll look at those metrics maybe tomorrow if I get the data done. Other than that, we'll cover whatever else happens. I think tomorrow we got somebody's reporting their quarterly results. I think that's Core. And then the 8th is Cleanspark, I think. So we have a lot to talk about also at that point. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. I hope you guys have a wonderful night. I hope tomorrow is another good day for Bitcoin and Bitcoin miners as well. And I hope that we are still very early in this cycle, which I still believe we are. But it might be the extended cycle. We'll see. We'll keep track of it all. All right. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a great night. Until then, bye.